Full filter and spark plug service on the Ford Focus 1.6 petrol. We'll start with the oil and filter. I've jacked the car up and put an axle stand under the sill on the passenger side. I like to leave the jack underneath, just touching or just below. Got a sump plug here and the oil filter up here. Sump plug's 13mm, and I'm going to use a special tool for the oil filter, as this one hasn't been changed for a while. Leave the oil to drain out as long as you can. I normally go change another filter while I'm waiting for the oil to drain out fully. So we'll do the air filter while I'm waiting for the oil to drain out. I've got 4 7mm bolts around the filter housing. Now the filter on these, the end of the filter is basically the end of the airbox. So when you're refitting the new filter, make sure that the end fits in this groove here. There isn't usually an orientation on the filter, so it doesn't matter which way up it goes. You'll need to squeeze the end of the filter onto the pipe first. Same with the airbox cover, make sure it's lined up with the end of the filter. And then retighten the screws. So new oil filter. clean oil on the new seal. You'll see on the side of the filter housing, effectively what it suggests is tightening the filter until it touches the block, and then tightening a further 3/4 of a turn. These are very often over tightened. They can be fitted hand tight, as far as I believe, without leaking. But obviously, once you've done the service, you can check for leaks when the engine is running. I'm going to clean off this oil from the front of the block and refit the sump plug. Refit the sump plug and tighten to 27 Newton meters. There's a little rubber seal that you can replace on the sump plug, or you can just get a full new sump plug if you wish. The oil capacity is 4.1 litres, so I'm going to add about 4 litres of oil and then run the engine for a few minutes. And once it's been switched off for about 10 minutes, I'll get a reading off the dipstick. So the engine's been off for a few minutes. You grab the dipstick and wipe the oil off. And this time we can get a reading. Sometimes it's hard to get it to focus, but basically touchscreen. So we're looking for the level to be close to this second cut out here. Now for the spark plugs. So pull the ignition coils out. Now using a 10mm spark plug tool, remove all 4 spark plugs. these spark plugs have a tightening torque of between 10 and 20 Newton meters. It also says tighten until the spark plug hits the bottom, so that's hand tight now, and then just go an extra 1/16 of a turn, so next to nothing. That's tight. Repeat the procedure with the remaining 3 spark plugs. Replace the HT leads. Finally, the cabin filter, which is in the passenger footwell. I don't really like the ones on these cars. Same on the Mazda 3 and Volvo C30. You have to pull the body control module out of the way in order to get to the cabin filter. So you pull this down, you remove 2 13mm nuts at the back to remove this bracket that's in the way, and then there's a small screw and multiple small screws on the heater matrix in order to get to the cabin filter. So you can unplug these cables if you wish. I don't usually. I just undo these nuts to get the bracket out of the way. I think the screws on the heater matrix are about 6mm. So 3 screws total. So check the direction of airflow. This part is marked 2014, so slightly no one's bothered to change this for a number of years, probably because of how hard they are to do. So fit the new filter in the same orientation as the original, and then box everything back up.